Welcome everyone. We're going to be looking at Wendy Williams' chart, and I gotta say this is a hard one for me. Her and Oprah were the two women that grew me up in my 20s, and Wendy Williams for sure is still the moment and an icon and such a contribution to the Black community in media. Wendy's space in the media, specifically being someone who was like a professional gossip and kept actually a lot of celebrities relevant, whether they liked what she said about them or not. Wendy Williams was there to help a lot of celebrities be relevant. And you know what? She was also there as like the mother bird, the mother hen to a lot of young people growing up. Because when you look at celebrities, you see them in only one light. And Wendy made them real to you, and Wendy made them and what they were going through lessons for people. So when I look at her Venus and Mars in conjunction in Gemini, this is Wendy Williams as the icon, the talk show host, the radio host, the pop, this was her. And this energy, Venus and Mars, it's pleasure and warrior, inspiration and pleasure all at the same time in the sign of Gemini. This is where she loves to talk, but she's also aggressive and feisty with her words, and it worked in her favor. Some of the most iconic moments is literally her with Beyonce, making Beyonce feel uncomfortable. Her with Whitney, even though Whitney was mad at her, she still seemed to engage with Whitney, and it was quite amazing to experience that level of energy between the two of them. And so this is Wendy. She attracts people with her words. She is a warrior with her words, and it was amazing to experience, and we're all very honored. Those who grew up with her are honored to experience Wendy. You know, her infamous phrase, "How you doing?" That actually also works beautifully with her Venus and Mars in Gemini, an icon, a signature, iconic statement that stands the test of time and was such a secure and comforting space. It's almost like you are with your clan, you are with your community, you were at home when you heard the word "how you doing." And the people words how you doing, you got to say it the right way too, right? That's Gemini, because Gemini isn't just the words, but it's the style, the twang, and the inflection in your words. And she was truly the dopamine of this catchphrase. I want to speak to the fact that she does have Venus and Mars in the fourth house, and so also the words that she says, how she portrays herself, feels like you're at home. It feels like you've signaled in your people. That's very much so Gemini in the fourth house. And I actually could see that Wendy would serve well, if hope is on our side and if things turn for the better, that she could do a podcast from home. This would serve her Venus and Mars in Gemini. I think that there's going to be more that we're going to hear about Wendy in more positive light, with Jupiter helping her this year. Jupiter will enter into Gemini in 2024 in May, and this could be a sign for the better, a sign for something more hopeful. But Wendy's energy is all whistleblower energy. It has a lot to do with bringing the truth out, bringing messages out from secret and private places. That also is Venus and Mars in the fourth house. You can see that Wendy is a Cancer, 26 degrees Cancer. She is emotional, and her north node is in Cancer, which means that her south node is in Capricorn. She's lived past lives of being in charge, in the authority, and your south node is something that you've mastered in a past life. And I think that there was actually a scene that I saw on Lifetime where it seemed like Wendy was being mean, but I don't peg Wendy to be mean per se. But a lot of people are interpreting how she was handling the lady who was asking her for what kind of clothes she wants to wear. And if you've been around like older women, like I've been around older women who are like, especially older Black women, like how they talk, how they are, you just got to be there to understand what I'm saying. The lady was trying to ask Wendy what she wanted to wear. right? And Wendy was saying very clearly, no, I don't want that. I want this. And there was a moment where the lady is like, but this and this and this. Like, she was kind of like trying to work on a different angle for Wendy to wear what she wanted her to wear. And Wendy just like eerily looked at the camera and kind of wanted the lady out of the room. I didn't like how that felt. I didn't like how that felt at all. And the main reason is because I feel like Wendy, whatever situation she's in, she's trying to assert her authority and people are questioning her. And to somebody with the South Node in Capricorn, that could drive you a little mad because you've mastered knowing what you want, how you want it. Like Capricorn is the director, it's the boss, it's the boss. Wendy has been a boss in her past lives. Like, this is not new to her. And so it's like, imagine you have a boss or director and you're like, what should I do? And you say, do this. And then the person's like, well, are you sure? Like, that would drive any boss to be a little bit more brutal. And I think that Wendy isn't brutal at all. You know, I think that she with her Gemini energy, she just uses her words to get it moving. Okay, I'm done. No, I have to get out. I don't want to deal with you. You know, like she's quick with it. That wouldn't offend me at all, actually. Mainly because I've been around a lot of older Black women, so that's kind of how they are, you know. So I think that Wendy is in a situation where people aren't really hearing her for what she's saying and her direction in what she's saying. And with a South Node in Capricorn and a Venus and Mars conjunct Gemini, if you're not being honored for your words and your direction with your words, that could be drive you a little crazy. Am I saying that that's the only thing? No, but I just do feel that she might be a victim of her environment and her circumstances, which aren't nurturing the essence of her. And if there is a need for her to remind herself of who she is, then that pulling out that South Node Capricorn could be one of the ways to do it. Let her tell you how she wants things. Listen to her as a director. That could make such a difference, according to this astrology, in my opinion. So, but Wendy's North Node in Cancer has a lot to do with going towards her nourishing aspects. And you know what? I'm really curious as to, and asking people who felt intimidated by Wendy. Especially right now in this state, because I could see people feeling intimidated by her with her moon in Scorpio. It's definitely there. And it's a mature moon in Scorpio. So I could definitely see that people are intimidated when Wendy was in her prime. But right now, like, I just don't see the intimidation. I see people not seeing her and questioning her for her inner authority. And that alone is dangerous for somebody's sense of self. Treating her like a child, treating her like she's, an old woman who has no sense. Like, don't do that to her. Please don't do that to her. Wendy is coming off of a Saturn return. Saturn is actually currently maybe 10 degrees away from where her natal Saturn is. But yes, Saturn on the first house too has a lot to do with being portrayed and not having the image that everybody wants you to have. Saturn in Pisces specifically is about lessons with lies. And I think that Wendy has done a lot of work, especially because she's got Gemini energy, to pierce through the veil and to bring the message, right? And I do see that Saturn is still working through her Pisces, because Saturn is currently moving through Pisces, so it's really still working on her first house, which can be a lot about how you look to people and dealing with kind of the weight, the pressure that Saturn brings about your image to people. So this could be a lot of what we're seeing as Saturn on her first house, kind of making things a little difficult, having her overcome obstacles about how she looks and appears to people. Also, Pisces being a sign that rules over kind of like older age, and wondering, is she going to be able to receive the karmic rewards of the work that she has done in her life in her older age. And I'm really hopeful that she will receive the karmic rewards towards that, all the things that she has done in her life. But right now, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of illusions, right, that Saturn is doing on the collective as a whole through Pisces. And you're seeing that people are struggling with what truth is, what reality is. People are being offended over concepts and delusions and lies. And so Wendy is in a lot of ways is just a part of this as a collective. We have to sort through the fog and come to the more organic truths. Another thing that is interesting is that Lilith, my channel, we focus on Lilith a lot. Lilith is moving through Virgo and is currently navigating, and Lilith is an erratic energy that isn't stable. It's calculated as the dark side of the moon, and it's actually like a moving point. So it can move between degrees, but is considered right now right on top of her Pluto. Pluto is a sign of transformation, of endings, metamorphosis. With Lilith going, first of all, with her having Pluto in the 7th house, this speaks a lot to her marriage and the divorce and how painful that truly was for her psychologically. And her, and you could see it, and a divorce is painful for everyone. It really is. But there's something about Wendy that it's like, it seems to be, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to be one of the major points in her life that truly might have broken her. We could find that Pluto empowers us or pulls us into paranoia. I say that Pluto is neurotic or erotic. And I think Wendy might have experienced the heightness of neuroses. I know this from experience. I've had 2 breakdowns in my life that I don't like to talk about because it brings up the paralysis state that I was in and believing. Like, you see the world through a very specific lens when you're in neurotica Pluto. And it's scary to me to talk about, but I want to start sharing this because I believe we really need to understand that, like, when you're in those frantic states, those paranoia states, it's Pluto working on the neurotic part of you. And you believe everything that your fears are telling you. I mean, I gotta say I'm still disturbed by some of those episodes I have. And if any of you have gone through it or had a loved one who's gone through any sort of paranoia state, schizophrenic state, or anything like that, God, my heart goes out to you, because it's the scariest thing when your reality turns in on you. When it turns in on you, it's scary as fuck, okay? So I don't wish it on anyone, and I just really want Wendy to come through this. I do. But I definitely see that Lilith is working on her Pluto, and Lilith is the dark goddess of chaos. So I think that she's going to pull through for Wendy and helping us to see through the lies. I do. And I think that Lilith is also going to see Lilith and Virgo brings professionalism at her divine goddesshood. And the need for people to be professional, I could see something wanting to go to court here. I think I've heard about something like that happening. All of that is signs of Lilith. So anything with like Wendy going to court or people going to court over her, people wanting to partner with her, anything like that is Lilith, right? And Lilith is going to bring chaos in the concepts of the courtroom. And Lilith's work here is to provoke people into true professionalism. So we need to see who's really doing right by her. And justice is definitely Lilith's goal, but she'll do it at a chaos cost. She doesn't have to do it in, your perfect world of what is ideal. So Lilith's energy can bring chaos in Wendy's seventh house of justice, right? Through the art of exposing where's the true professionalism happening. So I'm really hoping for Wendy to pull through. I'm hoping that she deserves a peaceful life, a life of nurture and comfort and nourishment. And you could see, like, when the makeup artist was talking to her in this little clip I watched, when he talked to her about her greatness, he was really, really channeling the communication that she needs with her Mercury and Leo to remind her that she was that girl, that she did that. She is the moment. She is an icon. And you could see, like, the light come into her, the warmth come over her face, in embracing that she was something. She was here. She did something. Such a powerful thing that makeup artist did with her and how he communicated to her in that moment that I saw in the clip. So I just wanted to, grace Wendy's chart with some hopeful eyes. And there's so much you could see in a chart, but that's just my take. Love to know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love.